I had a few guys reach out recently and ask about some tools, what I carried on my rig truck this past year. It's ranged in from a variety of projects. We did 60-inch open root butt welds, some casing, water line ranging from 20-inch up to 48-inch, a lot of lap welds, bell and spigot lap welds, 20-inch butt welds, process piping, 10, 12-inch down to 3/4 inch, hand railing, cable railing, plate work, some structure work, I-beam, different things. So a variety of work. This is what I carry on my truck most of the time. A lot of it is duplicate. Sometimes you just grab things out of the shop and throw them in the truck just to make sure you've got it without digging down to the bottom of the toolbox. But I had a chance recently to clean out my driver's side box where I keep all my fit up tools, everything. Just kind of go through it and give you a chance to see what I like to use. It ranges. There's a variety of products here, a variety of tools that I use all the time. Some use sparingly, but they all have a purpose. One thing I do like is laser. Set up your X-Y axis, horizontal, vertical. For layout, do quite a bit of work in vaults. So the laser works really well inside a vault. This is red laser. Probably prefer, I went cheap, prefer a green light laser. It's a lot easier to see and brighter, lighter working conditions. Carry a lot of string lines. If you go to a job, you may not have an ISO, you pull your own measurements. Oftentimes there's not blueprints. There's maybe an idea of what they want, but I like to pull string lines. Use your laser, plumb bobs, chalk line. Use quite often actually, for layout. If you're doing layout, drilling setting up a handrail or something on concrete, in concrete walls. If you need some reference lines, if you have elevation lines you want to keep permanent, more so than even more permanent than, or as permanent as marking with like a Sharpie. A couple tape measures, 25 footer, 35 foot, and then a 50 foot. Center finders, one for the larger pipe, one for small pipe. Got a variety of torpedo levels here. Some of them are Klein. Tools, Flange Wizard, simple Stanley there. I like a pencil. Take a couple of Carpenter pencils and keep those on the truck. They're really handy, because I'll mark about on anything. A lot of times even better than soapstone or those grease pens. This angle finder is a pretty good product. I bought it years ago. And that's the brand. It's from Japan. It's very accurate. Got magnets on it. Works really well. Use the dial to rotate the angle, but works really good. Keep a variety of rafter squares or chop them down, cut the ends off of them, use them for different places. This is probably one of my most utilized ones. It's this one that's cut down. I use it a lot with fit up OLEDs, and if you're in a tight spot, you can flip it against a weld or against a flange. You can flip it and lay out your OLEDs and everything. Works really well. Variety of wraparounds. That there is just aluminum flashing. I use it on large diameter. Works really well. Keeps a nice straight edge Lines up good. I think that'll go, I've had that on 96-inch pipe before. Just smaller wraparounds. It's 36-inch. This one here is from Leco, or Lee. It's their magnetic wraparound, which I love on 2-inch pipe. You know, smaller, 3-inch pipe and smaller. Above that, it's harder to, you know, get lined up because of it's magnetized, but it works really well. Small diameter pipe gives you a nice, quick fit up, quick edge, or quick layout. Hole pins, flange hole, 2-hole pins. Keep a variety. Like I say, if you got a big spool you're working on, you know, you may have 2, 3, 4 flanges on it, T's or whatnot. So files, bastard file, flat file, just Nicholson files work really well. Long lasting, keep a good edge. Water pump pliers, and then regular pliers. Cable cutters, always keep cable cutters on the truck. Switching out ends, or if you got to cut, you know, cutting welding cable, you know, and it's good to have on any job site. You can just share with the other guys on the job site too. Rather just dikes, small pair of Nipex pliers. Flange Wizard, those are their blocks for your squares or your straight edge. They work really well, kind of a third hand. If you're doing fit up and stuff by yourself, there's a lot of places where they work really well to keep, you know, to put the blocks on something steel, and you know, you can run your straight edge out. I keep a couple of 4-foot and 6-foot straight edges on my truck, as well as, you know, regular squares. And then just some random ends of pipe. Use those for layout and different things, circle cutters. I mean, you can use anything for layout, but squares, you keep 2 framing squares on the truck at all times, and then these smaller 1-foot square, one that's chopped down. You cut the corners off, chop them down, make sure they'll, you know, they're long enough that you can find square on eyelets and other fittings. A couple of small straight edges, angle finder, small angle finder, speed squares. Use those all the time. Layout, you can, you know, set your length, just run it along an edge and mark your whole layout. Got a couple of hammers, usually the small ball peen, I think it's a 19 ounce. A couple of single jacks usually on the truck. Crescent wrenches, variety. I got plenty of crescent wrenches. Probably really need 2. Another angle finder, bevel finder. Off the hook designs, you know, flange square works awesome. Really quick for squaring up flanges, big flanges. I think that goes up to 12-inch. Screwdrivers, you don't need that many screwdrivers, but a couple each. Phillips and flathead, little pry bar, wire brushes. This is an angle finder, a big angle finder that I made just out of some 2-inch flat stock. And then with a lock nut on the end, so it keeps it tight enough you can move it, lay it out, find your angle if you're using some string lines or laser. And then just random, I keep a bunch of grinder nuts, you know, the other ends, the inside if you're running cut-off rails and that. It's always good to have a couple extra. Strikers, air nozzle, you know, tip cleaners, extra tips. Also have a toolbox with compartments in it for all my other tips. For torch, all my machine torches, hand torches, I run a baby torch and a big torch. Other just random things, circle burner for Flange Wizard, circle burner for a torch. It works pretty good. Wish the magnet was stronger, but it does all right. Just like I say, some random studs, nuts, and just things that cleaned out. Lanyard and stuff, just in case for your grinder or tools or a bucket or that if you're in a man lift. Some random ends for your Tweco stingers. I used to run a lot of Lenco stingers. These are just extra parts off of those. Clips for your Chicago couplers. But a couple of cone rocks. These were all just random in that box, but like I say, use all these things quite often. But I've always found it never hurts to have a couple of, extra, especially 2-hole pins, levels, layout stuff. But I hope this helps some of you guys out that are setting up a rig truck or even a shop. I mean, these are all things used on a daily basis, and hopefully they can help somebody out. Thanks.